can't remember.
What do you mean?
Doc found you in the scrapyard. So you must be from up there.
And I'm just an insignificant girl.
Yeah, that's what they want you to think.
Welcome to the first episode of Film Seizure at the Movies. My name is Geoff Arbuckle. I am the co-host of Film Seizure every Wednesday with Jason Oliver. You can catch that on filmseizure.com. Also, I have Monster Mondays every Monday at filmseizure.com, and I write at bmovieenema.com every Friday. You can check out all of that stuff at those various places. And like I said, every Wednesday you'll hear myself and Jason Oliver talk about movies that are a little bit older than what we'll talk about in this kind of scenario, as we talk about our regularly scheduled episodes of Film Seizure. Of course, you can also always catch all of our older episodes at filmseizure.com. You can always go over to iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify. All of our episodes go up there as they are released. And you can also check out our YouTube channel, where if that's how you want to listen to our episodes, you're more than welcome to do so. But let's talk real briefly about what Film Seizure at the Movies is all about before we get into this week's feature, or this episode's feature. Film Seizure is generally a podcast where Jason and I pick a movie that is usually from our past that we have some sort of, nostalgia for, or like, or just something that catches our eyes and our attention that we want to talk about. Film Seizure at the Movies, though, is going to be one or the other person, probably, sometimes maybe both of us, talking about something that is current, that is contemporary, and that is something that we just want to kind of share our thoughts on in a succinct and brief way. This is not going to be a regularly scheduled program, I don't think. I think it's just something that we want to try out and see if we like it, see if it's something we can do. So, first up, I just got back a little bit ago from seeing the new Robert Rodriguez directed, James Cameron produced, along with his producing partner John Landau, Alita: Battle Angel. Now, seeing the trailers for this and seeing the posters and so forth, it kind of looked interesting to me. It seemed like you got this dystopian future. You've got CGI working with the uncanny valley of some of these cyborg characters that, they're not meant to look like actual people. They are meant to look machine-like and a little bit unreal. So it looked kind of interesting. Come to find out, this is something that James Cameron's been wanting to do for decades, probably. And Robert Rodriguez is a director I always want to give a chance to, always liked his stuff. It seems like this is a pretty good fit. As it got closer and closer to time for it to be released, you find out, it's going to be on the IMAX 3D. That's, that all lines up with what James Cameron likes to bring to the big screen. I had never read the manga that this is based on, or the anime that had been produced of this in the past. But all of it seemed to be something that I thought might be kind of interesting And, we've got actors like Christoph Waltz, Jennifer Connelly, Mahershala Ali is in this. Ed Skrein, who's always kind of a good jerk. He was the bad guy in Deadpool. So, it's got a little mojo to it. And, got the opportunity to see this on opening weekend. And I really, really liked this movie. It's not a movie that I expected to like as much as I did. I thought, this might be a kind of a rad movie. It might be fun to watch. It might certainly be fun to watch on the IMAX screen at the AMC that I live near. Certainly seems like a movie that you should at least see in 3D because of what James Cameron likes to bring to the screen. What I really, really didn't expect was that I am almost instantaneously sucked into the movie, and I'm going to say something kind of embarrassing here. I'm a 42-year-old dude, and oftentimes if I go and get something to eat before a movie, I get my drink at the concession stand at the movie, I sit down. Sure enough, I have to get up to go pee once, at least once per 90 minutes of movie. So, if a movie runs over 90 minutes, which most movies do these days, I may have gotten up twice and missing out on the movie. I did not leave my seat. I was glued to what was going on in this movie. It's a fun action movie. If you like Japanese animation or Japanese comics, I don't see any reason why you would not enjoy this. If you enjoy action movies or just a little bit of sci-fi or just something that puts you into a different world, I think you'd really, really enjoy this. And we'll talk a little bit about the main character of Alita here momentarily, but I wasn't really sure how well this movie was going to do. It's sometimes hard to predict how these early year types of movies that come out will perform. This came out right around the same time as when Black Panther was released last year. And, of course, Black Panther was the #1 domestic grossing movie of the year. You didn't get the impression that there was any movies that were going to do quite that good of business. You certainly hope that with a movie that you like, that you'll get, that it's successful, that you get the sequels that it sets up, which, spoiler alert, this does set up a sequel. So it's something that I really, really, really hope it's a big success overseas so that we can get the sequels. And I really, really hope that this turns out to be a successful movie in home media. Because I'm not really sure how well this is going to perform in the box office, because we're just a couple of weeks out from Captain Marvel and then a couple more weeks out from stuff like Shazam, Hellboy, and the Avengers, and all of the big expected hits to come. I really hope people go see this movie. It's a really, really fun, just a good old-fashioned action movie that's got some really great hand-to-hand combat type stuff. And it's just, and there's some really good actors doing a really good job in it. That said, let's talk a little bit about Rosa Salazar, who plays Alita in this movie. And Alita is, through and through, basically a human brain in a cybernetic body. She's given a young face with wide eyes that almost kind of look like an anime character. I think that's the point of it. She's also meant to look kind of young and kind of innocent. And what's interesting about her is that she's kind of the audience's way into this world, because she's found in the garbage dump by Christoph Waltz, who's a cybernetic MD. He helps repair people's limbs when they've been damaged. Almost everybody in this world has some sort of cybernetic implant, and he's a doctor who helps with that. So he basically provides Alita a body, because all he basically finds is essentially her bust. So it's like her shoulders, her head, and her spine. He provides her a body. You learn a little bit more about where that body comes from. It's not really much of a spoiler, but I'm going to leave that for you guys to see in the movie. And it's when she wakes up, she has no memory of who she is, what she is, where she came from. And we kind of don't know much about the world up to that point either. So we are kind of learning from her, or learning with her from the other characters around her, what this world is about. And there's a lot of exposition early on. You kind of get a lot of information thrown at you. It's really not a good idea to miss any of the first 30 minutes, 40 minutes of this movie. Because if you do, you're going to miss a lot of what this world is about. But, you kind of grow with her, and you kind of end up for a lack of a better term, you kind of fall in love with this girl. Because you are captivated by her excitement for learning these new things. You get kind of excited about learning about all of this new this new world that she's from. You kind of want to help her piece together her memory. She meets a boy that she ends up liking. She has food that she doesn't remember having before, like oranges and chocolate and various things that she just reacts to in such a glowing way. And then you find out that she's an absolute utter badass that wants to basically stand up for the people in New Iron City, which is where everybody lives. It's kind of the dregs of society. There's a world above that if you're rich and you're powerful, you can live in, and you can be born into that. But if you live below, you can never aspire to live in the city above, that basically literally is off the, it's above ground. It's floating in the air above you. And, so she wants to kind of basically fix what's wrong with society, and she wants to fight for the little person. And it's just a very, very simplistic good versus evil type of story, or it's good, or it's the oppressed against the repressed against the oppressed, or the oppressive. You know what I mean. But so you really kind of just, you're along with her this whole way through. You are experiencing the world through her innocence, through her abilities, through her experiencing these new ideas. And you just are taken with her. And every time she was on screen, you could not help but to have your gaze drawn to her, and to see her reactions, and to find out what she thinks of something, or find out how she's going to deal with a scenario. The action scenes in this are just phenomenal. A lot of special effects work, but it's very effective, and it works so much better than a lot of other things that are created. A lot of other computer generated created characters, if you will. I can't say it enough. I really, 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 really hope that people see this movie. If you can't get to the theater to see it, because I really don't know how much longer it's going to last. I really don't know how much legs this movie has. Once Captain Marvel comes out, it's gonna be tough to kind of be able to draw people to the film, but hopefully in the next couple of weeks it does continue to perform well. It was number 1 at the box office this weekend, knocking the Lego Movie out of the top spot, which is pretty impressive, really. I really hope people see this. If you don't get to see it in the theater, it will probably be available for digital download or streaming in April, maybe. And it will probably be on Blu-ray by no later than May, I would think. So if you get a chance to see it, give it a chance, give it a watch. And, I'm not usually the type of person who would say this, but if you have a daughter, watch the movie with her. I think she would really, really appreciate the energy that Alita gives. And, without it cramming it down anybody's throat, they're basically saying, this insignificant girl who was thrown away in the trash can actually be the hero of the people. And, it's her working with a father figure and with friends to kind of help build her up to that. It's just a good movie, and it's well written, it's well acted, it's well choreographed as far as the fight scenes. If you can see this movie, do it. Get to the theater if you really can and see it in IMAX 3D, or at the very least 3D. Otherwise, if as soon as you're able to see it at home, if you can't get to the theaters, do it. It's well worth your money, and it's well worth the 2-hour runtime. But that's really my basic review of the new film Alita: Battle Angel. I know that I will probably be doing another one of these in a few weeks for Captain Marvel. So keep your eyes peeled. Hopefully Jason will be able to get a couple of these recorded from time to time too, so that you don't just have to hear me babble on about movies. But again, you can always catch new episodes of Film Seizure. You can catch those are on Wednesdays at filmseizure.com. You can catch new episodes of Monster Mondays every Monday at filmseizure.com. And Film Seizure at the Movies will just kind of happen as they present themselves. But you can always follow us at Facebook and Twitter at Film Seizure. We have an Instagram account. And you can also listen to us on the various outlets that I mentioned earlier: iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, and even YouTube. So I hope this kind of helps you if you're on the fence about whether or not to see this. I hope you go see it. And if you disagree or if you have anything you'd like to add, please feel free to let us know. You can hit us up at our email at filmseizure@gmail.com. You can also hit us up on those social media sites that I mentioned, Facebook and Twitter in particular. But until next time you hear from either me on a Monster Mondays or from both me and Jason Oliver on Film Seizure, have a great rest of your evening, or enjoy the next episode that you listen to or whatever. And we hope to see you again sometime at the movies. Enjoy.
I do not stand by in the presence of evil.
She is threatening the natural order of things.